A very good afternoon to you and welcome to this edition of Lunchtime News. I'm Nadim Majid. Let's start off with a look at the news making headlines. In your headlines this afternoon, more than 300 millimeters of rain falls in Ampara. The Batticalobe Kathankudi Road closed due to floods. Salinity of pipe water from Kaluthara increases. On to those stories in detail. 3 minor tremors were reported from Wadinagala in Ampara and surrounding villages. Now, the chairman of the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau, Dr. N.P. Vijayananda, said the tremors were recorded on scales in Pallekele. He added that the magnitude of the tremors was almost 2.0 on the Richter scale. Dr. N.P. Vijayananda said the tremors were similar in nature to recent tremors that were reported from the same area. In other news, President Mahinda Rajapaksa has issued a message in view of Milad-un-Nabi, or the birthday of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, which falls today. In his message in view of Milad-un-Nabi, President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the teachings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad can be used to strengthen the country's future journey and to aid in patience, understanding and reconciliation in the country. The President points out that at a time when conflict has spread across the world, the Holy Prophet's teachings on peace, harmony, patience and understanding are all the more relevant today. Meanwhile, religious observances were held at the Dautagaha Mosque in Colombo today in view of the Holy Prophet's birthday. Muhammad was the son of Amina and Abdullah and was born to the tribe of Quraysh in Mecca in modern-day Saudi Arabia. While his father passed away before he was born, Muhammad's mother Amina passed away when he was only 6 years old. Muhammad, who did not receive an education as a child, worked as a shepherd in his youth before becoming a trader and travelling to many foreign lands. Muhammad was also known by the name Al-Amin, or the Trustworthy. While Muhammad became popular among his kin because of his personal characteristics and values, Muslims the world over believe that he became a prophet of Allah at the age of 40. Now, over the recent past, there have been several reports of Sri Lankan women working abroad as domestic help being harassed. A Sri Lankan woman who sustained injuries to 2 fingers while working in Jordan as a domestic worker returned to the island yesterday. Renuka Damayanti Herat from Saliagama Kurunagala left for Jordan last year in order to find a way to resolve the economic woes of her family. She hoped to build a permanent abode for her family. Renuka, who left for Jordan on the 6th of July last year to work as a domestic worker, is a mother of 3. Speaking to News First, she said she sustained her injuries on the 6th of November.
I worked for about 3 to 4 months in Jordan. Then I developed a stomach ache and I told the head of the household. Instead of taking me to a doctor, they gave me an injection and gave me some medicine. They did this twice more. The pain got worse. Every time I took the medication, I would faint. I took the medication and then came to the house and I was working in the kitchen. The last thing I remembered was putting a hot water bottle in one of the upper cupboards. When I regained consciousness, I was on the floor. There were a lot of blood. A part of one of my finger were on the ground. A part of another finger was hanging by the skin. I was in hospital for 5 days. No one came to see me. Afterwards, I stayed at the embassy for 1.5 months. There are a lot of children who are at the embassy with broken limbs who have been given medicine that drives them mad. I say that Sri Lankan women should not be sent to the Middle East for employment.
Now, on a related note, the National Expert Council held a conference in Colombo yesterday under the theme, "Can the sending of women to the Middle East as domestic workers be stopped?"
කිසිම ගෘහ සේවිකාවක් සත පහක්වත් වියදම් කරන්නේ නැහැ පිටරට යන්න.
No domestic worker pays even 5 cents to go abroad. That is a baseless lie. Any domestic worker receives at least 100 to 150,000 rupees in their hands before they leave. If I am lying to you, then bring any domestic workers to us and we will give them 250,000. We will give 150,000 rupees each. The sub-agent takes 100,000 too. This is the true story. The domestic worker has such a large sum of money in their hands. That is why I say that it is the domestic worker who brings in the most foreign exchange.
මුදල් ප්‍රමාණයක් මේ ගෘහ සේවකයාගේ අතේ තියෙනවා. ඒකයි මම කිව්වේ අය ගෙනන අය. ඒ ගෘහ සේවිකාව තමයි මේ රටේ වැඩියම විදේශ විනිමය ගේන්නේ.
විදේශ සේවාව නරක දෙයක් නෙවෙයි. පුහුණුව තියෙන
Foreign employment is not a bad thing. Those who have been trained, those who have the knowledge can easily reach good levels. A lot of Sri Lankans have become very successful in these fields. Thereby I think that it is better for us to aspire and work towards that aspiration rather than reprimand others. This is the rich lesson that has been taught to us by the poor Rizana Nafiq.
රිසානා නෆික් අපට ලබා දීලා තියෙන පොහොසත් පාඩම ඒකයි අපි හරියට ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕන.
On to more local news, the former president of the Moratuwa University Engineering Faculty Student Union, Madhuka Chandrasiri, says that the National Technology Institute, or NDT, must be moved away from the university premises. He expressed this view at a media briefing held yesterday.
විශ්වවිද්‍යාල අධ්‍යයන කාර්ය මණ්ඩලය ඒ වගේම NDT සංගමය පොලිසිය
We will be holding discussions with all involved parties, including the academic staff of the university, the NDT Students' Union and the police. Following these discussions, we will decide on our future course of action. Our request is that first, our students' safety must be ensured. It is not enough to simply punish those responsible. This time they brought swords and poles, but next time they may bring something worse. In an instance like this, our university needs security that can face this threat. At the same time, we are firmly of the opinion that the NDT students must be removed from the university land that they are occupying.
ඒ වගේම අපි පැහැදිලි සාවරක සිටිනවා NDT සිසුන් අපේ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ තියෙන භූමි භාගයෙන් ඉවත් කළ යුතු කියන මතය අපි ඉන්නවා.
3 suspects have been arrested in connection with the incident where an attack was levelled at the student dormitory of the Moratuwa University on the 16th of this month. Police media spokesperson SSP Prashanta Jayakodi said that while 7 more suspects have been identified, their arrests are imminent. Meanwhile, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board says that there is a risk of the salinity in the water distributed by the refining centre of the Kaluthara Joint Water Supply Project increasing during the next few days.
Deputy Chairman of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board, Gamini Gunaratne, said that high tides in the sea has resulted in the increase of salinity in the Kalu River. Kaluthara District Secretary UDC Jayala said that necessary action has been taken to distribute clean water through bowsers to the public in case the situation is aggravated. The District Secretary added that officials of the District Disaster Management Centre had also been informed of the matter.
Meanwhile, in weather news, the Department of Meteorology says that rains can be expected in many parts of the island in the coming 24 hours. Meanwhile, the Disaster Management Centre says the Kathankudi Batiklo Road was closed in Wellaveli due to floods. A bus plying on the road met with an accident today when it was caught up by gushing waters.
A bus plying on the Kathankudi Batiklo Road was washed away by gushing waters. The Disaster Management Centre said that 24 people inside the bus were rescued by the police. The bus was washed away as the driver attempted to maneuver it across the Shoe Bridge. Meanwhile, the spill gates of the Cowdola Reservoir, which were opened by 9 inches each yesterday due to the heavy rainfalls, had been opened by 1.5 feet each as of this morning. 6,360 cubic feet of water is being released from the reservoir per second. The spill gates of the Parakrama Samudra in Polonnaruwa continue to remain open by 9 inches each. Spill gates of the Minneri Reservoir had also been opened by 1 foot as of this morning. Several areas in Ampara were submerged as a result of the heavy rains. This was the state of the Ampara Iginiagala Road this morning. Our reporter says that the section of the road near the Hardy Technical College had been submerged as a result of the spill gates of the Ampara Reservoir being opened. Our reporter said that the road was under about 4 feet of water as of this morning. The Met Department says that rainy weather could prevail over the next 2 days. The highest rainfall in 24 hours ending at 8 am today was reported from the Ampara district. This figure was 307.3 millimeters.
On to sports news, it was reported in the media today that former Test cricketer Sanath Jayasuriya was appointed as chairman of the Sri Lanka Cricket Selection Committee. However, when Sports first made inquiries from Jayasuriya, he said that he has not officially been informed regarding such an appointment. Now, the chairman of Sri Lanka Cricket, Upali Dharmadasa, Secretary Nishanth Ranatunga and Chief Executive Officer Ajit Jayasekara said that they have not been notified of such an appointment. Secretary to the Ministry of Sports, Harsha B. Abekon, said that the Minister of Sport should be contacted for further information on the matter. However, our efforts to contact the Minister of Sports, Mahinda Nandal Gamage, proved futile. Meanwhile, the chairman of the National Cricket Selection Committee, Ashanta Dimel, says that Ajantha Mendis will replace Rangana Herath in the first 2020 encounter against Australia tomorrow. When Sports first made inquiries, he said that TM Dilshan and Kusal Janit Pereira will open the batting for Sri Lanka.
While Sri Lanka lead the 2020 rankings at present, they will need to win the series against Australia to solidify their position in the rankings. If Sri Lanka lose the series, they will drop down to 4th in the rankings. If Australia claims the victory of the series, they will advance to 6th place, dropping Pakistan 1 place down the table. An Australian victory will also result in West Indies advancing to the top spot from slot number 2.
And that's a wrap for this edition of Lunchtime News. As always, it is an absolute pleasure having you with us. Join us again on Live at 55 at 1:55 for comprehensive reports on the latest stories, as only News First can deliver.